the first thing that I want to talk about on this is Ryan's reprehensible comments from 2011 about how a woman who is here illegally should be afraid to come forward to the police if she's been assaulted. Someone questioned him about that at the debate, and here's the salient part of Ryan's answer to that.
Well, I appreciate the question, though a little unfair. First of all, that quote, what was reportedly said was that if a legal immigrant was raped, she should be afraid to come forward. That's what they said that I said. I did not say that. It has been clarified in actually 5 different news publications that that's not what I said. And after I read it, I actually went to the Telegram and said, this isn't what I said. And they wrote another story about that. What I did say was if they were raped and they were here illegally, they would be afraid to come forward.
So he claims now that he said they would be afraid to come forward. Well, we have the receipts on this. The June 8th article in the Telegram and Gazette. My thought is that if someone is here illegally, they should be afraid to come forward. If you do it the right way, you don't have to be concerned about these things. That is in quotes in that article. So if Ryan had an issue with the quotes in that article, he could certainly take that up with the Telegram and Gazette. He also said that even though citizens have the right to be viewed as innocent until found guilty in court, he said, I don't think that principle extends to illegal immigrants. Well, innocent until proven guilty applies to everybody in the United States.
I guess not in Ryan's world.
Not in Ryan's world. And the last thing that he said also, which is, again, an egregious comment on his part, if they are here illegally, they have committed a crime. So our state senator doesn't even understand that immigration is a civil matter, not a criminal matter. That's what happened on June 8th of 2011. On June 9th of 2011, we have here an article from Mother Jones magazine in which a Mother Jones reporter called Ryan, and he doubled down on those comments, saying, of course, anyone who was raped and molested or injured in any way should report it regardless of their status. What I did say is that the Secure Communities Program does not address that. The Secure Communities Program would cause the police to deport people or to report people who are here illegally. So it does address that. And he says, if someone got into a car accident, it's obviously a tragic event, but if they're drunk and they crash, it's a crime. So if that person was drunk and survived the accident, they would be afraid to come forward. Theirs would be. But then he says, if someone is here illegally, they should be afraid to come forward because they should be afraid to be deported. The reporter even asked him, that analogy you're making.
So he didn't step back at all from that.
Yeah, he didn't step back at all.
And that was just a couple days after the original one.
Right, and the reporter asked him about, this is the person in the car accident who was drinking, they've committed a crime.
Right.
You're
turning a victim into the perpetrator,
exactly.
Then, in a sense, that kind of twisting things around.
Exactly.
But they already get treated like that, women who have been assaulted, sadly, without having that added pressure,
It's bad enough. But then on the 21st of June, the Telegram and Gazette did publish a clarification of Ryan's remarks.
This is the one that he referenced, right?
This is
When
what he was referencing.
I called them and they wrote another story. This is it? Okay.
Right. This is what he was referencing. He did revise his comments. In the article where they talk about his revision to his comments, which came under massive pressure from both Human Rights Watch, from Rape Crisis Center of Central Mass, from a Change.org petition that was gathering thousands of signatures.
So
There's about 4,500
signatures. On
signatures. He got a real lot of backlash. He revised his comments. In the article where they talked about his revision to his comments, they quoted it again, that they should be afraid to come forward. Nowhere does it say that we have to correct the record. He said they would be afraid to come forward. Nowhere at all. Further, he went on in his debate answer the other night. He talked about U visas and how U visas are a solution for this issue. In June of 2011, he said nothing about U visas. There's no record anywhere of him saying anything about U visas at that time.
Could you refresh our memory as to what a U visa is?
A U visa allows a victim of violent crime to apply for a visa to stay here legally. Okay? There are 10,000 U visas issued annually in the United States. There's a current backlog of 64,000 applications for U visas. It's not a solution. It's certainly not the panacea that Ryan likes to think it is or would want to represent to the public that it is.
So just so I understand, is he trying to say that for a rape victim, that they get raped, instead of going to the police, they can get a U visa, or what is he trying to use
when they
that?
go to the police,
Okay.
and it's found out that they're here illegally,
Mm-hmm.
then that person could apply for a U visa. But if the backlog is 64,000
Well,
and they issue
and in his
10,000 a
world-
year, that's 6.5
If
years.
they're afraid to come forward, then they're certainly not going to get the U visa either, if that's
Exactly.
in his world.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a real shame that Ryan feels this way, and he's doubling down on it all the time, and now he's flat out lying to us about that. I was looking forward to our next debate because I want to ask him another question about this, but who knows if Ryan's going to actually show up for any of our remaining debates.
Did you have the
in this
clip
race.
on the look on his face when the other debates were mentioned? I don't know that he's going to show up.
I know that Tom mentioned the next debates
Tomorrow
in his closing remarks, but I believe that the camera was on Tom at the time, so there's no record of what Ryan was looking like.
I don't think Ryan likes to be called out on things. I don't think he likes to be questioned. Who does that remind you of?
Well,
it's right there.
It's right there, tip of my
Right.
tongue, and he's
He's got a thin skin.
yeah, he's got a nickname for Tom. He calls him Tom Taxes.
Okay,
So-
so somebody that likes nicknames, that doesn't tell the truth all the time. There's somebody very familiar.
Republican.
Yeah, he's a Republican.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll just have to think about that for a
Yeah.
while. Christine.
It'll come
We'll
to me.
wake up screaming in the night, I'm sure.
Sadly, though, they're picking up on all these tactics that the White House is using, just the twisting of the lies and the insistent and just the shameless information that's so misled.
Well, if you feel that your position is right and just the right thing to do, why do you have to lie about it to get people to come to your side?
Right.
Why do you have to exaggerate to get people to come to your side? If it's the right thing to do, tell them why, and then they'll come to you.
Well, here's the thing, Kevin. The Republicans get themselves elected by appealing to people's emotions.
Yeah.
Not by appealing to their logical brain, but by appealing to emotion, getting people emotionally worked up. I used to work for a solar power firm in Boston. I worked for them for 2 whole months, and I walked off the job because I couldn't do it anymore. They did their sales tactics the same way. Get people angry, and they'll sign up.
Or fearful.
Or fearful.
That's what Sandra Biaggetti attempted to do. Her talking points are really about the what ifs, and she'd use an anecdote that may or may not have happened, but all it was an anecdote. It wasn't a factual say that this is happening all the time, kind of like the question 3.
Well, on question 3, she said something along the lines of, I've heard of incidents
Right.
that have happened.
I have too, but is that ever related to the question?
Right.
She's not making that connection at all.
Right.
So that's the thing that's frustrating is these broad brush statements, these generalities, anecdotal incidents that are not quite correct anyway.